their network with us is 177. Sure.
So for someone turning 64 and will soon need to get onto Medicare, what are the penalties or deadlines I need to be aware of?
So there's a lot of deadlines that you need to be aware of. And the first deadline or enrollment window actually starts 6 months before you get onto Medicare. That is your Medicare Supplement open enrollment. And you're able to lock in your plan 6 months in advance of turning 65, actually. A lot of people don't know that. Another deadline is your Part A and Part B enrollment. So when you're getting onto Medicare at 65, you actually start that 3 months prior to your Medicare effective date, so your 65th birthday. And then the last one being your drug coverage. And a lot of people sometimes forego this. And there's a lot of penalties assigned to the Part D drug plan, which actually happens 60 days before someone actually turns 65. So you have your 6 months with your Medicare supplement. You have 3 months for Part A and Part B of Medicare before you turn 65, and then your Part D starts 60 days beforehand.
For someone turning 64 and will soon get onto Medicare, what options do I have with Medicare?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because right now, Medicare Advantage is one option that's been promoted, and the Medicare industry's really kind of been promoting that a lot lately. And the option that's taken a back seat to all this is Original Medicare with a supplement plan. And that's an option that can be really good for folks, right? It gives them a lot more coverage. It does come at a premium, but it's just not an option that's being discussed. So there's two options. You can have either Medicare Advantage or Original Medicare with a Medicare Supplement plan. And this is why I think our Medicare webinars are extremely important for people to join. We don't host them often just because of the capacity of what we can handle. So we have one coming up this Tuesday, but we give an unbiased outlook on both options. How they work, what they do, which one's a better fit for you, specifically in your state perhaps as well. And that way you can come learn from us, get that unbiased information, and make an educated decision on which option's better for you.
So for someone turning 64 who's about to get onto Medicare, what do I need to look out for and who do I trust?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. I mean, in the day and age that we're in now, it's tough to know who to trust, right? First and foremost, you need to work with a agent or group rather that is working with both sides, Medicare Advantage and Original Medicare with the supplement. And they're independent, meaning they work with all of the carriers. They're not captive to one company because then you're only seeing what they can offer, right? And the trust factor, you know, what I love about our team is that all of our agents are salary based. So you don't have that, you know, commission breath, insurance agent kind of, you know, trying to sell you everything in the book, right? Our agents are salaried. They get paid to take the call, understand your needs. We go through a whole client needs assessment to find out what's actual good fit for you and what you want your insurance to be like, right? So the trust factor, I think the biggest way to trust somebody right now is just to Google them, right? Google does a good job of vetting good companies. And for example, if you Google our company, Medicare Joe, we have over 1,000 5-star reviews. So if you're working locally, Google who you're working with, see the feedback that they've been getting. And that'll give you a good idea of who to trust through this process.
So for someone turning 64 who will soon get onto Medicare, what are the costs I need to expect on Medicare?
Yeah, I'm very glad you brought that question up. A lot of people come to us thinking Medicare is actually free, believe it or not. But there is a cost associated with it. So the Part B premium, it's $185 now. Come 2026, if you're watching it then, it's gonna be $206 a month. So a lot of people aren't aware of that. And that's just your bare bones coverage. So if you're going Medicare Advantage, for example, you're gonna have probably different riders that you want to attach to your Medicare Advantage plan. If you're gonna go with Original Medicare, you're gonna have a supplement plan that's an extra premium as well. And I think that's why people just enjoy coming and learning from our Medicare webinar because it gives them information that they had no idea about before they actually heard about it, right? You don't know what you don't know. There's an old adage that we tell everybody. And in our Medicare webinars, we have one actually coming up this Tuesday. We don't run them often due to the capacity we can handle, but we have one coming up Tuesday. We dive into the exact costs of Medicare Advantage versus Medicare Supplements. We dive into the differences state to state because the prices can vary for supplement plans drastically depending on what state you're in. And people leave these webinars feeling comfortable knowing that they got the information from an unbiased source and now they can plan around or budget around what Medicare is going to cost them.
So for someone turning 64 and will soon get onto Medicare, what are the ways I can start preparing for Medicare enrollment?
Yeah, I love this question. I think the preparing part is the most important part because there's enrollment windows that start 6 months before someone gets onto Medicare. So you're 64 and a half at that point, and you're making a decision on what Medicare supplement plan you want if you choose that route. So preparing is all about knowing these enrollment windows, understanding what decisions have to be made in those enrollment windows, and understanding what are the best options for you to do in those enrollment windows. So we do a free educational webinar. We typically host them like every other week just due to the capacity of people booking calls after them. But we have one coming up this Tuesday. And what we go over in those webinars is what you need to do, when you need to do it, and how to do it. And I think that helps a lot of people that are joining these webinars that are 64 in a few months because they're taking the action to be proactive, understanding what they need to do, getting a game plan more or less of what their Medicare enrollment is going to look like before it's actually time to make decisions. So right now, there's just so many people that are looking to prepare for their Medicare that we just can't host everybody within one webinar. So these book up, we're capped at 1,000 with the webinar software. So if you're seeing this, there's still room and you can click that Learn More button, register for upcoming session, understand what you need to do, when you need to do it around Medicare, so you can be prepared and have a successful enrollment.